It has been almost 2 weeks since Hurricane Helene ripped through 6 states in the southeastern United States, and the reports continue to document incredible devastation and loss of life. Crossroads Cares is responding with both prayer and aid in partnership with Convoy of Hope. Ethan Forhetz is on the ground right now in North Carolina and joins us with an update. Ethan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you again, Cheryl.
Now, you're in the hardest hit state, which is, of course, the surprise to everyone. What are you seeing and hearing there?
Well, I mean, when you go down near where rivers are and what used to be creeks, and you see the level of damage that was done by what are fairly small creeks that became raging rivers unexpectedly, the damage is devastating. I mean, people's entire lives are wiped out. Imagine having to leave your house so quickly that you don't even grab an ID. You don't grab paperwork. You have to get out. So now they're starting from scratch. Their houses are in some cases destroyed. In many other cases, unlivable, certainly uninhabitable right now. But they don't have anything. They don't have a driver's license. They don't have any way to prove who they are. They have to start from scratch with all the paperwork and just start to begin to get their lives back together again. It's a hopeless feeling for a lot of people here because there's just so much work to do. And where do you start? I mean, nobody's been through this sort of thing before. That's here in North Carolina. Totally unexpected, as you mentioned, this sort of devastation, this sort of catastrophic rainfall that caused creeks to become raging rivers.
I can't even imagine what that would be like. I don't think most of us could. Is there one story or person you met that has really stood out to you and impacted you personally?
Yeah, there's a family. There's a family of 8, and they were struggling days after the storm went through. And the sheriff's department went in to do a well-being check, which they're doing a lot of these days. So they went in to check on this family, and they found in the river the 6 kids bathing, taking a bath in the river because they hadn't had running water since the storm hit. So the sheriff's department, they talked with the parents, found out that they also hadn't had food in several days since the storm hit. So the sheriff's department is a great partner of Convoy of Hope. So they contacted us and said, hey, listen, here's the situation. So Convoy was really able to take in bags of groceries, take in cases of water, ice for the family, hygiene items so they could bathe properly, and really was just able to bless that family and really encourage them and speak life into them because they were really just devastated by this storm, and it was going on and on, the recovery, and nothing had happened for them yet. No electricity, no water. So it's stories like that that are really all over the place. It stretches all the way from Florida up to North Carolina, Virginia, and it's really unprecedented what these people are going through.
It does my heart so much good to hear that you're there, that you're responding to those needs. I know you've been handing out water, food, sanitation supplies. Are you anywhere near the next part, cleanup, or, still just handing out that food?
No, right now it's the very basics because there's running water. It doesn't exist for most folks around this area who are in the hard hit areas. Power's out for a lot of people. So we're in the very early stages of what is going to be a very long-term recovery. Convoy of Hope is committed to being here for the long term, long after the TV cameras leave, because that happens eventually. Our attention will turn, as it already has, to the next storm coming in. But Convoy will be here to minister to the folks who need it here in this area and throughout the 6-state area where this storm hit.
Yeah, we're so thankful for that. And now, of course, as you mentioned, there's another hurricane on the way. Where is that headed? Of course, it's not quite arrived yet, and it can always change at the last minute. But what are you doing to prepare?
Well, we already have a team in Florida, so we're on the ground in Florida already. I will be traveling down to Florida tomorrow to be able to be there to ride out the storm in the Orlando area. So it'll be a little inland. And then as soon as the storm moves through, we move in and we begin scouting the area for locations. The good news is the Convoy of Hope has incredible partners all along the coast of Florida, both sides, honestly. So we're down there a lot. So we've made good friends down there with several churches in that area. So we've got great places that we would be able to park some of these vehicles, not these vehicles, because these are in North Carolina. These will be staying here. We'll be taking a second fleet of U.S. disaster vehicles. We don't have to do that very often, but sometimes we're at 2 major disasters at the same time. It looks like this week that's what the situation will be. So we'll move in there. We'll team up with our church partners, and the trucks coming from our world headquarters in Springfield, Missouri, will keep coming with the supply. And we now have a warehouse in North Carolina where 9 trucks are arriving today, full semis, full of supply that will stock that warehouse so that we're able to handle all these distributions around North Carolina. We're working on securing another warehouse in Florida so we can do the exact same thing there, fill it with supply, and then from there take the supply out to all our church partners along what we think will be both coasts.
It's absolutely insane that there would be 2 hurricanes back to back making landfall in the U.S. And we're obviously going to be keeping you in our prayers that you are safe. Thank you for being there. And even, please pass our thanks along to the churches who've been impacted themselves and are now serving their community in such a beautiful way. And we want to invite everybody watching right now to join us in this effort. The Bible talks about how we have to love our neighbor as ourselves, and there's no other closer neighbor to us than the United States, and friends of ours, and so many people that are suffering right now. We just want to stand with them and let them know they're not alone and do what we can to help. So I'm asking you to join us. That number is 1-800-265-3100. You can also go online at crossroads.ca/Helene. It is urgent that we get aid right now, and people have no food, no water. It is a timely ask, and we need you to respond today. So please call that number, go online, and do what you can to help the victims of this hurricane and help them prepare for the one that may be landing in the next 24 to 48 hours. Ethan, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all you and your team are doing to make a difference.
Well, we're blessed to be able to do it. Cheryl, thank you so much for your care and your concern and the generosity of your viewers.